Right, we are now going to work round 7A, and this is how we're going to join diamonds like this. Okay, we're going to join 6 diamonds together like so. For your the two single layer pieces, this is where sort of the joining happens. You haven't got to do that double layer malarkey. But I'm just showing you for the double layer malarkey because I'm using the silver yarn. Don't forget, exactly the same instructions for the other pieces. It's just using different yarn. We've gone over all that, but I will keep reminding you in case you're joining in just at this point in the videos. These instructions are the same. It's just I'm using silver yarn. Refer to your charts to see which colour yarn you need to use for round 7 if you're just working the single layer star. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got my first diamond completely outlined in the silver, and I'm now ready with my second diamond to join this to the first one. And you can see what I've done so far is exactly the same round information as we've done on this first diamond. So we've joined at the corner space, 1 chain, 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and then we've come along and done those 1 double crochet in the chain spaces, 1 chain all the way along. So 1 double crochet, 1 chain all the way along. We've done the fancier end part that we've done the same here and worked all the way along this other edge, but I've stopped before I've got to the corner space. Hard to tell what that is, isn't it? That's where I've joined in, but that is the corner space, and this is where we're going to start joining this to this, and these instructions remain the same for diamonds number 2 to 5 inclusive. Okay, so you only really need 1 set of instructions for diamonds 2 to 5 inclusive. So I'm going to position them like this, because what we're going to do is we are going to continue working this lovely sort of silver outline round along this edge at the same time as joining into our diamond that we've already got outlined. We're going to work into the stitches that we've made already to secure them together. Let me show you what I mean. So as I've mentioned, I've come up to, I've done the 1 double crochet, 1 chain all the way along the edge up to the corner space. So this is the position I will be in with my crochet. All right, at this point I'm going to remove my hook. I'm going to line up my diamond sort of roughly. I know I want this one joined to this one, and I'm going to take my hook and insert it from front to back in the chain space from the previous diamond. So in this case it's diamond number 1, and the chain space is that corner point at the edge. So it's always our sort of starting position. It is tricky to see, but you'll be able to see it in real life. If I bring it up close, you can see I'm going in through those 2 double crochets there. I'm then going to grab this loop again from the diamond I'm working on currently, and I'm going to pull it through. I'm just going to pull it gently through, hopefully, trying not to prick anything else up. This will be slightly easier with the non-metallic yarn. I told you I'm a little bit awkward with the metallic yarn. It frightens me. I don't know why. Just does. There we go. So I've pulled the loop through. Although it is tenuous, those 2 are now linked, aren't they? They're joined together, and I'm going to secure that by making a double crochet back on the one that I'm working on, the incomplete one. I'm going to put a double crochet into the chain space on my side. I don't know why they're both my sides, you know what I mean, on the one I'm working on. So I've now got 1 double crochet in the chain space here, and it's attached to the chain space here. Really difficult to see, especially with the hook laying there, but it is. And if you just perform that little function, it will be, you can see, can't you, they're joined together. That good, isn't it? Right, so I've got my 1 double crochet in the chain space, and now 1 chain. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work along this edge doing exactly that, exactly what I've just done. All right, I'm going to remove the hook, insert the hook in the next chain space on the previous diamond. So it's going to go front to back in that little chain space there. So you know we did the 1 double crochet, 1 chain all the way around. That's where that is now going. Pick up a loop and pull through. This is again where I get frightened of the yarn. There we go, picked up a loop and pulled through. And then I'm going to put 1 double crochet in the next chain space on the one that still needs some silver. All right, there's no silver on here. We need to silver it up a bit. All right, so that's all I'm going to do all the way along. Let me take that out and do it again. So I'm coming along to the next chain space, which is this one. All right, putting my hook through from front to back. Hang on. This will not be awkward for you because you will not be attempting to do it under an overhead camera. And well, you might be. I don't know. If you are, let me know. Hook through from front to back in that next chain space. Carefully pull my silver yarn through. Again, I have to say this will be a lot easier, I think, on the non-metallic yarn. So if you wanted to practice on that one first, go ahead. But you know what I'm like. In for a penny, in for a pound. Loop is pulled through, so I'm now coming along to my next chain space on my non-silvered diamond and making a double crochet. So it's the same all the way along. Slow and steady wins the race. Yarn, hook through space from front to back, pull through a loop, double crochet. All right, I'm just going to double check. There are no, there really aren't. There are no chains being made here. You don't need to create a chain space here because we're using our chain space to join and it's working out a treat. So there's no chains to be made, just pulling through the loop and then making a double crochet. That is all you're going to do. And you're going to do that all the way along until, we're going to do that how many times? 13 times. And then we will do the normal thing, I think, at the corner. Sorry, I had a bit of a pause there because I was reading the pattern. Could you tell? A little bit. So let me just work up this edge, doing the same thing until we get 13 under our belt, and we'll see what we do next. Right, I'm coming up to the very last chain space that I have available working along the edge here. So I'm just going to put my double crochet in there. All right, so I've got 1 double crochet attaching to attach still to my diamond number 1, but I have no more spaces I can go to along the edge. So I'm going to start working into the chain spaces that we made in the end loop. And if you remember, we did 3 double crochet, 1 chain before we did this sort of little edge here. So I've got some spaces I can use there, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hook through the first chain space in that edge, or the end I should say, and pull through. And I'm starting to bring this end corner is that? Yeah, this sort of end peak, if you like, into play. Okay, now I've got nowhere else to go except to start working the end loop of my diamond number 2. So we need to look at how we're going to treat that. It's slightly different, but marvelous, still marvelous. Yep, so I'm going to do 1 double crochet in the loop at the end, and I'm going to go back into the next chain space along and pull through and go back in and make another double crochet in the loop, come through to the next one. So we do that 3 times. We've got 3 spaces we can use up, which means we can make 3 double crochet. So that was number 2, come through, and here's number 3. So I've done 3 double crochet now into the end loop of diamond number 2. Okay, I'm now going to do 1 chain, because what we're going to do now is just sort of bring together these little extra loops, tie them in, not tie, join nicely, and give it a lovely sort of neat center as we work around. So I've made 1 chain. I'm going to put my hook through that 4 chain loop that we made, pull through the loop. Okay, make 2 chain, 1 and 2, and now from this point onwards my work with diamond number 1 is finished. I've nowhere else that I need to do anything with this, and all I've got to do is finish this unworked side here, but I'm not yet out of the end loop. I've got to finish that off neatly. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to do the same pattern as before, which is 1 chain, 1 double crochet 3 times. That's 1. Sorry, it's 1 double crochet, 1 chain 3 times, isn't it? 2, and now 3. And what that has given us is that's given us the sort of the little chain spaces so that we can link our next diamond to it. So we've just sort of built the foundation for the next one, if you like. So I'm finishing up by whizzing down this edge in the very same way that we did round 7. So that's just the double crochet 1 chain all the way along, and when I get to the corner space I shall fasten off and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so here we go, very last stitches. I get very carried away when I do this, and sometimes when I look back at my videos I'm not in any way on the screen. Just a little check there, and I was, so that's good. Right, so I'm just going to join with a slip stitch into the very first double crochet, fasten off with the enormous garden shears. Pull that through and I'll deal with that in a minute. So let us have a little look at what we have achieved. So diamond number 1, diamond number 2. So what we did with diamond number 2, if you remember, I worked, how did I start? I started over here, I worked all the way under and around, and then when I got here we had to join along this edge, didn't we? So you can see that is joined nice and neatly. It's really, really pretty. You will see this when you're working it. It's hard to see with the metallics, but it is really, really pretty. And the way to work it is exactly the same whether you're using metallic or non-metallic yarn. So we worked all the way along the edge, then we joined the sort of first sides, if you like, of the loop together. We interlinked the 4 chain loops at the end, and then we just were free to work this other edge because we've got nothing to join to. So that is how you're going to join the next so it's from diamond 2 to 5 inclusive. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can't count. You've got 3, I did just do that on my fingers, what of it? You've got 3 more to join in exactly the same way as we've joined these 2. 3 more to join in exactly the same way, and then we've got the last one to do, which is slightly different, and we'll do that together.